Well, I'm going to kick this off with just a very brief few slides so we can all get acquainted, and then we'll get rolling. So this is, we are here to talk about Colorado nonprofit services that help older Coloradans, part one. So the reason it's part one is because we have quite a few nonprofits on our website who help older Coloradans. So we have 7 today. We'll see how that goes, and then we'll do more of these in the future with more folks. So if you could please stay muted during presentations. We do encourage questions, and please put those in the chat if you would. And then if you have a service provider that you would like to recommend to us to be a part of our website, please send us a note. And let us know how you learned about AgeWiseColorado, if you would, and comments about what you like, don't like. We're constantly improving what we're doing, so don't hold back. And don't forget, if you choose to make a donation, that's really easy to do. And finally, volunteer opportunities. We have a lot of those, so you can find them on our website. These are today's panelists. So we'll start with Hillary Simmons. Hillary is the Executive Director of A Little Help. She has 14 years of experience as director for various organizations and businesses, including over 10 years with A Little Help, Colorado nonprofit connecting neighbors to help older adults thrive. Hillary has previously served as Vice President of Finance for a software startup, Senior Consultant in Strategic Performance Management with a business consulting and accounting firm, and as founder of an LLC performing financial analytics services. Currently serves as Board Vice President of the National Village to Village Network, Senior Special Interest seat on the Denver Regional Council of Governments Transportation Advisory Committee, and Treasurer of House Working and Healthy. Hillary is a Duke graduate and holds degrees in psychology and English, and earned her master's of public health degree from the University of Pittsburgh. Next up is Stacy Potash. She is the program manager for Aging Care and Connections Department of Jewish Family Services, oversees multiple community and home-based services, including a homemaker program, pantry delivery program, Holocaust program, and kosher meal programs. She also develops new and short-term crisis programming to adapt to the needs of the older adult community. Enjoys volunteering and believes in the power of giving back. Currently serves on the Englewood Cultural Arts Committee as a native of Colorado, likes to travel, paddleboard, and yoga. Gail Nels, I'm not sure Gail's on here yet, is the CEO of the nonprofit Envita, which is based out of Colorado Springs since 2011. Is a respected leader in identifying and implementing innovative mobility solutions for older adults, specialized rural transportation in the Pikes Peak region. She worked on the revision of Colorado's Medicaid transportation benefit over the past 6 years, and in 2018, pushed for 2 rural public routes, acquired management of a volunteer driver program, launched a mobility solution for behavioral health aid rides, and collaborated with regional transportation providers to adopt new software for more efficient specialized transportation in the rural counties. Connor McCarthy manages grants and client care at Aging Resources of Douglas County. He's been with the organization since early 2021 and has been excited and challenged by the growth the organization has experienced in less than 2 years. Connor has spent the entirety of his career in the nonprofit space, with previous stops at Nora's Home and Special Olympics Chicago. Also serves as assistant director for the Mosswood Retreats, a small annual writers retreat on the coast of Maine. Jamie Holligan is the director of volunteer events and community engagement at Silver Key in Colorado Springs. She manages the volunteer impact program with over 500 volunteers, responsible for a team that executes events and builds long-lasting relationships in the community. She has degrees in journalism from UC Boulder and a master's in management, project management from Colorado Technical University. She's very active in Colorado Springs and is a decade-plus board member of Common Works and the Leadership Pikes Peak Civic Leadership Program, and a double star graduate of that program. She also serves on the Pikes Peak State College Multimedia Graphic Design Advisory Board, the Fort Carson Army Volunteer Advisory Council, and Colorado AmeriCorps Seniors. Next is Chris Lynn. Chris is the president and CEO of Seniors Resource Center. After serving on the board of directors of SRC for 6 years, Chris was appointed to the role of president and CEO in February of 2019. What excellent timing, Chris. After a 20-plus year career in real estate, Chris has had the opportunity to serve in advisory capacities on numerous boards, as well as helping to serve older adults in the real estate practice. Chris is a fifth-generation Colorado native and enjoys time fly fishing, biking, and time with his family. And finally, last but not least, is Virginia Bryan, who's the outreach specialist for Cultivate. Virginia has been actively involved for many years in assisting seniors to remain independent. She has a passion and focus to continue to assist seniors to stay independently in their homes through the many services provided through Cultivate. In her spare time, when she's not listening to music, she's creating music. So this is quite an interesting panel with people that do a variety of jobs with a huge variety of backgrounds. So this should be a very interesting session. Next here, a little bit about who we are, AgeWiseColorado. We are working to become the premier information and vetted resource hub for aging Coloradans and all current and future caregivers. We use this illustration to show that we focus on the approximately 3 million people who are either in the sandwich generation or have graduated beyond the sandwich generation. So folks who are looking for help in a lot of different ways and often struggling to find where to go to find information, education, and actually find vetted service providers that they can feel good about using. We work on we serve all aging Coloradans, caregivers, and adult children of aging Coloradans, employers, all of our vetted service providers, of course, and all organizations committed to healthy aging. These are some of the areas that we focus on providing service providers for. When you come to our website, you can see it's varied. And we've had webinars on almost every one of these topics at some point in the last year plus. And you'll find those on our website. What's different about us from national referral sites? There are quite a few of those. So we are focused solely on Colorado for one thing, and we've been working in this aging space for a number of years. So we have good networks here in Colorado, and including doing a lot of advocacy work at the state legislature and around the state. We're much more than a referral list. We do provide a lot of great information and recorded webinars like today's, which is being recorded and will be on our website soon. I mentioned the 3 million people earlier. And finally, it's all about making the often invisible organizations more visible. And so that was the whole genesis of this whole project, because we noticed early on that there are so many organizations that help people age well and age wisely in Colorado, and not enough people know about them. So our job is to make those organizations known. Some webinars that are coming up, we have today's, of course, and then coming in a couple of weeks, can Alzheimer's disease be prevented? That'll be an interesting one as well. Veterans programs, there are some changes in veterans programs, so we'll be talking about what's current and what's changing. Of course, fraud and scams, this is a topic that you can't talk enough about. and then finally geriatric trained healthcare providers, and how they make a difference in your life. And that's another one that is very important. So that's where we are. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to turn to Hillary.
Yes, thank you. You were cutting out a little bit there, but I'm excited to join you. I'm Hillary Simmons, the Executive Director of A Little Help, a proud partner of AgeWiseColorado, and love hearing about all the great work they're doing there, because Bob's work and Barbara's work at AgeWise is really lifting all ships and providing some of that visibility to nonprofits that are doing really great work in our communities, but don't necessarily have $1 million marketing budgets. So we're always happy to share what we do, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to share, and look forward to hearing from other nonprofits on this webinar as well. So A Little Help is a 501c3 nonprofit here in Colorado, serving in the Metro Denver area, up in northern Colorado, and out on the western slope. And I'll share a little bit more of that in a minute. But we are all about connecting neighbors to help older adults thrive. We want to help our older neighbors to age well in their homes and in their communities that they've often been in for decades and love and want to be able to age into. And sometimes that just takes a little help, whether that's around the home or yard, or transportation as well to access the community. So A Little Help equips volunteers of all ages to help with services around the home, around the yard, and transportation is a big one, so that our older adults can stay in those homes and communities that they love, with the help of neighbors for some of those tasks. But really at the root of everything we're doing is also that neighborly connection. So making sure that our older neighbors stay connected to the community in a social and community way as well. So, really forging intergenerational connections and highlighting and bringing to bear that reciprocity that happens as well. Our older neighbors have so much to give back to our communities as well. So, while we're talking about some of the services that our older neighbors can receive today, there's also so much that they're giving back to our community as in a reciprocal way, sharing stories and experiences that really make it a valuable experience for all of our volunteers of every age as well. So some of the primary services we provide and kind of most requested, most needed, one is transportation. And A Little Help does provide transportation to doctor's appointments, to the grocery store, to a bridge game, to a hair appointment. So it doesn't have to be medical related. It can be social in nature as well. We have folks who go to, their faith-based institutions as well. And that is volunteers who are providing the rides in their own cars. So for our older members, they do need to be able to transfer into a volunteer's car with, not much more help than a friendly arm in. So we do not have ADA accessible transportation at this time, but there are lots of great resources we'll hear about later in this call that do. Transportation is definitely one of our most frequently requested services, and I'm sure we'll hear this again from other folks. It's definitely a need in the area, and is so important that so folks can access fresh food, healthcare, and the community for fun as well. Getting to the bank, running errands, all that good stuff. And during COVID, our transportation pivoted from taking people to places, but then bringing things to people. So we would pick up groceries. We had a volunteer running around to 5 different stores to find toilet paper back in the days when you couldn't find toilet paper and paper towels, and running those kind of errands, getting prescriptions, things like that, delivered to our older adults' doorsteps with contactless delivery to make that safe throughout those stages of the pandemic. And we also started doing things like kindness kits and just delivering a little bit of sunshine to our older adults to let them know that we're thinking about them, and that they have someone they can call. And we still do those kindness kit programs. I saw somebody in the chat asked, and I won't be able to respond to every question as they come, but we do ask for at least 4 to 5 days notice, business days, because we do rely on volunteers and we need to get the word out. And find somebody to fill that request. And that is if you're already a member of A Little Help. Our membership is pay what you can. So it's fully a sliding scale. I call them contributions now, not fees or dues. A Little Help was born out of the village model and the national village movement. Many of our peers still do have kind of high member dues per year, but we've been pay what you can for over 5 years now. And we found that to be an important way to be more accessible and inclusive. And we have an individual conversation with folks. And you can pay $0. Our average is about $100 a year, but it's a full range. So once you are a member, you can request services. And if you're not, you'll need to give us a little more lead time if you have a transportation request, because we got to get you in the system and learn more about you. So another big area of service provision from A Little Help is yard work. So we send groups out all the time to help with raking leaves, washing windows, weeding gardens, planting in the spring. We're coming up on service Saturday seasons now, where we'll put the patio furniture away and close out the swamp cooler and rake all the leaves up. That seasonal kind of home maintenance that ebbs and flows. We do big work events in the spring and fall, and now we get groups who come to us year round, and we send people out. And snow shoveling is another big part of our yard services. So for that, we would match somebody for the entire season, and we try to make those matches as hyper locally as possible, so that an older adult knows when it snows that their sidewalks will be cleared. We don't always do driveways. That's up to the volunteer and the member need, but we'll make sure those sidewalks are clear and safe, because there's such a fall risk there, as well as risk of citation and things like that from the city. So that's a big important one. We're also helping with things like handiwork around the house, a little job that might need help. If it gets to the level of like electrical or plumbing or things like that, we have preferred providers. And honestly, we partner a lot with AgeWiseColorado on that to help find those local resources for you. I talked a little bit about how important the social piece is. So that's built into every ride, every leaf raking excursion, but it's also an intentional programming aspect as well. So we do things like care calls and friendly visits and walks, and other. I'm getting the notice that I've gone over. There's so much to talk about. And we also do a lot of intergenerational programming, like summer picnics, Scouts and Sages, teen team, things like that, to be really intentionally intergenerational and connect our folks together. So I invite you to check out our website, alittlehelp.org. I'll put my info in the chat. I won't be able to stick around till the end for questions. I actually have to drive to Breckenridge to present at Housing Colorado this afternoon. But thank you so much for learning a little bit more about A Little Help.
Okay, thank you, Hillary. Okay, next up is Stacy Potash. Stacy.
So hi, everyone. My name is Stacy Potash. I'm a program manager with our Aging Care and Connections team here at Jewish Family Service. I think the first thing that I always like to tell people and to debunk any myths is we serve everybody. You do not need to be Jewish to have our services. And I think that's a very important piece that I like to just throw out there at the very beginning. First slide, next slide. JFS provides a wide range of services as a whole. And that includes mental health services and disability services. We help people seek employment. We do crisis services. And then, of course, our Aging Care and Connections team, which is what I'm here to talk to you about today. Next slide. The mission of Aging Care and Connections Department is to help older adults remain as independent as possible for as long as possible in the environment of their choosing. And in order for us to do this, we provide a whole bunch of services. The first service we provide is our care management services. The care management services are really directed at the client and assessing the individual needs and their goals. Most of the time, we're spending looking like navigating what the client needs, the systems, making referrals. We do applications. We help clients. Online applications are a big thing right now because a lot of our clients can't do the online stuff. So we help them with Medicaid applications, LEAP applications, SNAP applications. And we also help find transportation for clients. That's a big one. And unfortunately, one of the bigger ones that we're seeing now is getting people on housing wait lists. With the housing crisis, a lot of our clients are really struggling to find that housing. So we're helping them get on those wait lists. Consultations are more directed toward the whole family. So that's usually like a 1 or 2 time visit with the entire family to educate everyone on like the aging process and the different resources in the community. This is a lot about housing options in independent housing versus assisted living versus nursing home versus memory care. And we get into a lot of that, what each of those looks like and the cost of that. Next is our counseling services. And we do provide counseling services to older adults. Our counselors here specialize, for our department, specialize in the aging process. So dealing with coping of losses, adjusting to physical disabilities, end of life matters, family dealing with end of life, those type of things. We are unique in the fact that we don't just see clients in our office or online, but we actually go to the client's home and meet them in their houses for their counseling sessions. So that's an opportunity for them to be able to stay in their homes if they need to, for our homebound clients. Our most utilized service is our homemaker program. And we have, oh gosh, probably about 250 clients on this program currently. Our homemakers provide light housekeeping, light meal preparation, laundry, groceries. They'll do errands for clients. We do this on a weekly or biweekly service, depending on what the client needs and their abilities. This is really to make sure that those clients can stay in their houses as long as we can. We do this on a sliding scale fee option. We also have Dr. Cog funding for a fully funded opportunity for this program. You do have to be over the age of 60, but Dr. Cog does pay for that. Next up is our friendly visitor program. And this is a program that we match volunteers with clients to really help social isolation. And during that time, the clients will spend a few hours together. The client and the volunteer will do things like going on walks or going out for lunches. They might have a hobby that they enjoy together. Some of them go play cards. So it's a wonderful opportunity to match our volunteers with our clients as well. We do have a Holocaust program. The German government gives us a grant to help pay for our Holocaust survivors here throughout the state of Colorado. And so we provide services for everybody in Colorado. This is the only program that is statewide for us. And it covers a lot of their medical care, in-home services, and food if they need it, a lot of gift cards for food, and transportation to medical appointments. We have 2 kosher meal programs here that we run. The first one is our congregate meal site. And this is a collaboration between us and Shalom Park, who provides the food. And it is kosher food. It is also, we do this with also at the JCC, the Jewish Community Center. And it is run Tuesdays through Fridays from 11:30 to 12:30. It's an opportunity for our clients to sit down and have a meal together and sit and chat. Our other kosher meal program is a Meals on Wheels program, and those meals are delivered out to our homebound clients. That is 5 days a week. So it is Monday through Friday that we deliver meals to our homebound clients. The last service that our Aging Care and Connections team does runs is our pantry delivery program. And this was started for COVID and kind of realized that we missed a opportunity to that we realized that we really needed this going forward, and that it was much needed even after COVID. So we have about 100 clients that we serve, and they receive not just shelf-stable food, but also fresh food. So we partner with our pantry here, and they get fruits and vegetables and frozen meat and bread bags, and along with their shelf-stable. And we deliver out to our clients on a monthly basis for that service. Currently, the Aging Care and Connections team is serving about 400 to 450 clients throughout all of our services. And we go from Denver to Jeffco to Arapahoe. We don't do a lot of things in Adams County, but we kind of dabble into it a little bit, but that's about where our service areas is. And we've been around for 150 years as of this year. So we are celebrating that this year, 150 years of service. And that is all I have for you today. My information is on that last slide, and I can also put it into the chat. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Stacy. And also that slide I showed earlier on where I had all the names and contact info. We'll slip that into to the chat as well. Maybe yeah, I'll do that at some point during the presentations. So thank you very much. I see that Gail Nels has joined us. I introduced Gail earlier. So Gail, it's your turn to speak about what you do down there with Envita.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Sorry for being late. I think I got the time wrong on my own internal calendar, not the one posted. So my apologies. So I'm Gail Nels. I'm the CEO of Envita down here in Colorado Springs. And we provide transportation in the area to not only older adults, but people with disabilities and low-income people. And so we do a fixed route out to like El Paso County rural, Ellicott, and up into Teller. And so we are pretty familiar with many of the issues that older adults face around transportation. And especially we saw the consequences of that during, of course, the beginning of the pandemic and even now. So that's just a brief history of what we do. Anybody, back to you, Bob.
Well, that was the briefest presentation we've had so far.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, thank you. So tell me a little bit about how you got into this business of transportation in Colorado Springs and surrounding areas, you personally.
Me personally. So I've been in my first career was IT, in programming and sales support and sales. And then I was a stay-at-home. And then I entered back in the job market thinking, oh, the nonprofit sector probably needs someone with a little deeper perspective about, because there's so few definitive lines, I think, in what to do in nonprofits. And so I got involved with volunteer management for the homeless families, and then I got involved with this organization. And back in the day, it was called AMBACAB. And we were trying to figure out, do we still belong in the marketplace? Because even back in 2011, when I came on in like December 1, funding has always been an issue in transportation. I think people think that it's always publicly funded, and in many ways it is, but not entirely. And especially for those of us that are in the nonprofit sector that don't have a tax base like from a municipality, we have to cobble together our funds to support people. And here in El Paso County and maybe Colorado Springs and other parts of the country, and of course, Colorado, there's a great reliance on nonprofits to fill in the gaps from where taxpayers don't want to fund or can't fund. And so we really focused on, I guess it was the people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and older adults that needed lift assistance and those kinds of vehicles. Because the footprint of the ADA and what that is mandated and required of municipalities is very limited, as many of you know. I mean, it's 3/4 miles outside of that fixed route, bus route. And here in Colorado Springs area, it was very minimalistic and probably still is a transportation system. And so we do a lot of supporting people. And I think my style or leadership style has been, so go where the for-profits don't go and go where the need is. And so that has included, working with a volunteer management program up in Monument in El Paso County here, and then going out into rural, because what we've seen is people like to stay where they live. They don't want to move someplace as they age, typically, unless they have to. And so how do we support people living their best lives, the lives they want to live in those areas? And so we've continued to grow. We've fleshed out many of our funding sources, and we grade them very carefully. A bit challenging right now, I think, as many of us in the nonprofit sector see how challenging our finances are this year. But we go and we try to put these monies together to the best use. That's how I kind of fell into it. And I guess having aging parents who have now passed, but understanding my mother did not want to get on that branded big lift vehicle, and how, that dignity of what that vehicle looks like and how we treat people is important, how we answer the phone, but how we also meet the diverse expectations around this community about transportation. And so that is a more on-demand, spontaneous, as well as those scheduled appointments for medical. So I got involved, and I guess I stay involved because it's very challenging. I like a challenge. And I like to also work not only on the operations level, though, which is where the greatest challenge is, but also at the policy level. So I work, not only here at the local and state level, but some at the federal level as well, trying to influence, provide the data and the stories around what it looks like in the field. And I think Colorado has a bit of a unique perspective, or at least, I think Invita does, because, we are an agency that does both urban and rural, and we serve a broad demographic spread of people. And so I think we feel that we can inform others well about what we're seeing and what is successful. I think we've also just recently this year, because I come from the corporate sector, I think sustainably around, and it's not about the environmental sustainability, but financial stability and sustainability. And so we reinvested in the community by offering more rides, because we bought a for-profit company that was divesting their transportation branch. So just this year, we bought a for-profit called Coach Transportation, which essentially doubled our fleet, and I think has enabled us to respond to the expectations of more on-demand transportation, to help people live that life. Like, oh, I do want to go to a restaurant at night. I do want to go see a movie. Or can you take me to church on Sunday? And so because of COVID, our hours expanded. And now that we bought the other company, we've been able to provide more Saturday and Sunday services as well. And what we've seen is that behavioral health also does not just stop at a certain age. There's all kinds of issues in behavioral health, substance use also. And so we provide that kind of transportation as well.
Thank you, Gail.
And no problem.
That was very good. Thank you. Okay. We are going to move on to Connor McCarthy. Connor, please.
Thanks, Bob. Very happy to be here. So Aging Resources is a nonprofit dedicated to helping folks stay independent and in the homes and settings of their choosing. We've been independent since 2018, but I believe the organization has been around in one guise or another for like the better part of a decade at this point. Our services are available to anyone 60 and over who is resident in Douglas County. There's never any charge for our services. We do send like a summary of services received and a suggested donation, but it is really only a suggestion. Our most requested service is transportation. Most of that transportation is provided by background check volunteers. Right now, we provide right around 1,000 trips per month. We do a lot of important medical appointments, and we have a dialysis route Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. We have 2 ADA accessible vehicles. But in addition to the medical stuff, we also go to the grocery store, and we do a lot of quality of life trips. I was just taking a look at our schedule for today earlier, and kind of right now during this meeting, we've got a Bible study ride and a trip to a bridge game, and folks who are headed to the senior centers for lunch, and that is pretty representative of our schedule. We really want folks to have access to the sort of full spectrum of community experiences. Our next most requested service is companionship. Most of our companionship is done in person, and we do both in-home and community outing companionship relationships. We try to be very intentional about pairing folks who will be a good match in terms of pairing a volunteer with one of our members. Since it's getting to be cold and flu season, I will mention that we also do have a virtual companionship option. And if that's a better option for folks, we will provide a device as well as technology training to sort of facilitate that relationship. And then in addition, it's kind of a corollary to companionship. We also do, we have a reassurance calls program that is also trying to sort of ameliorate social isolation. If you combine staff and volunteer numbers, we did just a scooch under 3,000 reassurance calls last year. We also do offer chore and handyman services. Those handyman services are basic repairs. We tend to do like a lot of grab bars and banisters and that kind of thing. And then the yard work as well. We just partnered with a business down here for a day of service, and we hit around 15 of our members' houses. We were very excited about that. Our newest program is our wraparound help at home program. In this program, we partner with our friends at Nourish Meals on Wheels, and we provide 3 hot, nutritious, and tasty meals per week. Participants in this program also get a weekly wellness check-in with a client care specialist and ongoing access to the full suite of Aging Resources services. We are super excited about this program. We piloted it a couple of over the summer at a couple of senior living communities, and it was really, really popular. Folks really like the meals, and you know, they would often sort of choose to eat them in a communal setting. So there's an organic community happening, which is very encouraging for us. Since the pilot, we've expanded it to include a rural outreach dimension. That's down in Larkspur. I administer that program. It's the best part of my week every week. And we've also started delivering to just individuals in the community. Right now, we're doing between 900 and 1,000 meals per month. And we're looking to expand that when we can. And then finally, there's a resource navigation component to our services. We like to say that we're kind of a one-stop shop for aging issues, questions, and concerns in Douglas County. We like to say that every member of our staff is kind of an aging expert. And if you're struggling with a question that we don't provide an answer to, we'll find the right person to help you. We do about 5,000 calls a year and provide about 4,000 referrals per year. So yeah, that's what I've got. Thanks.
Okay, so Jamie, you're up next, please.
All right, let me go ahead and share the screen. If you guys can, okay, can you guys see that? Hopefully you guys
Yes.
can. Oh, good. Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jamie Holligan. I'm the Director of Volunteer Events and Community Engagement with Silver Key Senior Services. We're a nonprofit in the Colorado Springs and Monument area in El Paso County, and we serve anybody that identifies as a senior. So I'm going to be going through this 2-page flyer today. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'd be happy to answer those. But I want to give you guys a macro perspective of what Silver Key is about. We're founded in 1970, so we've been around for 52 years. You can see here, we've got a picture of some people here and this blue square that talks about our address in Colorado Springs. We're located on the southeast end of town off of Murray and Fountain. We also have a new location in the Monument area with the Tri-Lake Senior Center. So if anybody's in the area in Monument off of 2nd Street in Jefferson, feel free to stop by our new location, which is amazing. Our Silver Key tagline is "Aging is all of us." Our mission is to serve in partnership with our stakeholders to support a healthy quality of life for seniors, allowing them to age safely with dignity and independence. And you can see here on this bottom right corner, we have kind of a 5 wishes seal. Silver Key is a 5 wishes informed organization, and we are proud to say that we've talked to over 3,000 individuals during this pandemic about this advanced care planning guide. So this is something that anybody over the age of 18 should complete. The 5 wishes booklet, once again, is an advanced care planning guide that's separate of a will. So this is something that kicks in when you're too ill to communicate for yourself. That's when you fill this out, and it notifies both your healthcare providers and your family members what those final wishes are. We encourage you to bundle that with legacy giving and really think about those things that are important to you with your estate planning, legacy giving, and be able to map that out for your loved ones as well. You can see we've got 3 main pillars of service. We've got the engagement services, the health and wellness, and our community services. We've actually been able to maintain a great volunteer base of over 500 volunteers. And last year we served over 11,000 seniors in the Pikes Peak region. I do want to point out this footer at the bottom in the purple area. We've got our website, thesilverkey.org. Our main phone line is the Silver Line, which is 719-884-2300. And then our main email is info@silverkey.org. So if you guys have questions about today, once again, contact those entities at those areas and they'll be able to give you some key information. With our Silver Line, we've been able to answer anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 calls per month pertaining to seniors. So that could be everything from how do I become a volunteer? What time does your thrift store open? Or it could be somebody in a state of chaos and crisis saying, oh my goodness, I just escaped from my son's basement and I've not eaten in 2 days. So really we see the whole gamut of things. We have a skilled team there, a trained team that can answer those calls and get them routed to the appropriate areas. Down here with the engagement services, we have an amazing thrift store. Silver Key the thrift store is something that anybody at any age can shop at. You can donate, you can shop. The thrift store is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 at our South Murray Boulevard, 1605, South Murray Boulevard location. We're best known for our durable medical equipment. So we've got the ability with walkers, canes, crutches for folks to bring that by. We're able to sterilize it and have that on our thrift store floor at a fraction of the price. We also have some incontinence products, amazing clothing and books and household items. Feel free to stop by. Our VIP program, like Bob mentioned, is Volunteer Impact Program. So once again, that's where our esteemed volunteers really make a difference throughout our system. We could not do what we do every single day if it wasn't for our volunteers that have a heart, a servant's heart, to be able to help the seniors. So if you're interested in short-term or long-term opportunities, individuals or groups, we have plenty of things that you can get involved in to tie in with your skill set and your passion to help seniors. The health and wellness area here, this is where it's growing, it's exciting. We have a very robust behavioral health team with some licensed therapists that can be able to help seniors. We also have case managers and peer navigators. We partner with over 200 organizations in the Pikes Peak region and be able to provide a variety of resources pertaining to things like utilities, housing, whatever the case may be, we're able to get people connected. We also have our companionship program with Reassurance Plus and Vets, and that's where we're able to provide, once again, that social connectivity. Reassurance Plus, we're able to ultimately give the individual some meals with our Meals on Wheels program, and then get them connected with our porch light technology to stay in touch with audio and visual with their loved ones. We are the largest food pantry in Southern Colorado. We get the bulk of our food from the Care and Share Food Bank. So we're really proud of that. We service up to 1,400 clients every month for the food pantry. And we do have individuals and groups that donate canned goods, dry goods, that type of thing. We are doing a Thanksgiving food drive called Bountiful Bags, and we're going to be providing a Thanksgiving meal in a bag through the food pantry for up to 1,300 seniors, which is going to be fantastic. We've got the guardianship program, medical power of attorney. These are things that are able to be a trusted resource for seniors in the legal and judicial system. We are best known for our community services. So we've got rides and meals. I know Gail spoke about Invita. We've been able to partner with them and really provide a lot of great regular rides for seniors. We transport up to 150 rides per day, grocery stores, doctor's appointments, dialysis, the whole gamut of things. And that gets the senior out of their home to have that independence and be able to connect with others. We have the Meals on Wheels program, as well as home delivered meals, Connections Cafe. We have up to 13 cafes in the local area, as far north as Monument. We have one in Woodland Park, downtown area, and over on the southeast end of town. So seniors can come together and enjoy that fellowship, have a nutritious meal together, and be able to connect. In the nutrition program, we make up to 900 meals per weekday. So we're really proud of that. We have a whole army of volunteers that help us get those meals delivered to the doorsteps of the seniors. We do have a housing initiative. We are going to be building an affordable housing complex on the ground of Silver Key in the next 2 years on the north side of our property. And we also have a location in front of the Senior Center off Hancock. We have a location that used to be called Senior Heritage, and now it's our Silver Key at North Hancock. So feel free to stop by there, but we're really excited to be able to be involved for affordable housing here in Colorado Springs. For the food pantry, we partner with the Bear Creek Garden Association. So we're able to get some fresh produce to the seniors, and that's something we've been able to do during the harvest season. And once again, I did mention that the bulk of our services is tied in with social determinants of health. And so if you think of all of us as human beings every day, we've got to have food in our belly, a roof over our head, transportation, and social connectivity. So these are things that Silver Key does that permeates within the Pikes Peak region. We're able to provide all of these things that meet the social determinants of health. If you don't have one of those things, then your life becomes imbalanced. So our transportation, I know somebody had an early question with transportation. Our rides are booked up to 2 weeks in advance with the high volume that we have. But once again, we have our great partner, Gail at Invita, and her team that are able to help us out. So if anybody has any questions, let me click on this. Are there any questions? No? Okay, so I will put my contact information in the chat today. And I just want to say thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you very much, Jamie. That was great.
Yes.
Thanks. Thank you. You folks have been around for a while, and you built up quite a volunteer corps.
Yeah.
So that's excellent. Okay, next up is Chris Lynn, Seniors Resource Center. Chris.
Great. Good afternoon, Bob. Thank you so much. I hope everyone's having a great afternoon. Wanted to introduce Seniors Resource Center to you. I'm the president and CEO. SRC is located in Wheat Ridge. We serve the Denver metro area, heavy in Jefferson County, including the rural areas of Evergreen, Gilpin County, Clear Creek Canyon, and those areas as well. Our goal here, our why, is to help provide wraparound services for folks who choose to age in place, whatever that looks like for them. Their own home, living in someone else's home, family, friends, or in a facility for older adults as well. So in terms of those wraparound services, we provide in-home care. I know you've heard a lot about that today, but everything from helping people to get out of bed, bathing, getting dressed, food prep, meal prep, and most of all, companionship. We also have a group that does cleaning. We have another group that does deeper cleaning services, chore services. We also have a hoarding program. We work with an organization to help folks that are potentially facing eviction due to their hoarding situation. We know that if they are evicted, they will most likely end up homeless. We don't want that to happen. So we partner with this organization to help with that, and also with Jefferson Center, formerly Jefferson Center for Mental Health, to really work with the individual to help get to the underlying cause of this hoarding situation. And this program is just expanding, and really proud of the work that we're able to do there. We also, in Wheat Ridge here, we have an adult day respite care program. Our program is designed for folks that are with dementia or Alzheimer's, and we welcome our guests into our adult day. So their home caregiver, whomever that is, can do whatever they need to do. Many of them are working. As Bob mentioned in the intro for AgeWise, part of the sandwich generation are still taking care of kids as well as someone else. And they can just know that their person is with us safe and sound during the day. We provide activities, whether it's, some exercise, arts and crafts, general just community activities. We also have an on-site commercial kitchen with a chef and sous chef who provide amazing meals for our guests, which they love. And that program is, we noted that during the pandemic, when people we couldn't have people physically present, our staff actually went into their homes and spent a couple of hours 2 or 3 times a week with them there, just to provide that respite care for their home caregiver. But we noted the decline of folks because of the lack of community. So it's been great to have them back in and being able to engage with one another in our community. Kind of what pulls it all together is our care management model. So whenever anyone engages with Seniors Resource Center, they're assigned a care manager to help not only the older adult, but their other caregiver as well, to really provide more of a holistic care to the individuals. And what that entails is helping to determine, do they need transportation for whatever activities they need to go to? Do they need someone to come in and help at home? How can we help get them ready to come into our adult day program? And then referring them to other various resources around the community as well, not just SRC. We developed that model over the last couple of years, and it's expanded, and it's been a tremendous resource for us. Our care managers also, we partner with the Family Justice Center in Jefferson County. Porchlight is the name of it. And all of our care managers have been trained to assist with providing temporary protection orders for older adults that are having issues. And so that partnership is tremendous. So our relationship with the county is very strong in helping, care for folks outside of, just their activities of daily living and what they need there. We receive about 250 to 300 calls per month requesting resources. Our team has a vast array of various resources in the community they refer them to, but I'll also say, AgeWise is building those resources as well, and it's a great resource for folks as well. So please continue using AgeWise and support that organization. And also, I've heard from other people here this morning about the various funding challenges that nonprofits are facing. And we know in the aging services realm, a lot of those funding challenges are growing. And so I would just encourage everyone to really be proactive in advocating for older adult issues, for funding mechanisms around the services that older adults need in all of our communities. You've heard a lot about transportation. That is such a huge dilemma around the country, really, but we experience that here. So any opportunities that anyone has to advocate for funding, please do so. SRC has been here for over 40 plus years, and I'm very proud of the organization that we have here. Our team is amazing. The care professionals that we have are so engaging with their clients, and I'm just very grateful for the level of engagement that they all have. So that's who we are. That's who SRC is. I'll put my info in the chat as well. But thanks so much for being here today and listening to all the services that are available.
Thank you very much, Chris. Virginia, would you please go next?
There we go. Hello. I'm Virginia. I'm the outreach specialist for Cultivate. So let me tell you a little bit about us. We are a volunteer-powered nonprofit, a 7-member office that coordinates services for over 500 clients within Boulder County, and now we've expanded into Broomfield. We've been around for over 50 years. We were known as Boulder Care Connect before and evolved into our new name, which is Cultivate, because we cultivate all of our services. We are very passionate about helping our seniors to stay independent and to flourish in the different opportunities that they can connect through Cultivate as a recipient and as a contributor. We have quite a few programs that we do. So I'm going to kind of share a little bit. So we have a Snowbusters. With winter coming, we want our seniors to stay safe. So we pair volunteers with our clients in their neighborhoods to help them to feel safe and to reduce their risk of falling, because we just don't want them to get hurt. We want them to stay independent. We have a yard program that we do, Yard Busters. And we have volunteers or groups of volunteers that will come in and do weeding. They'll rake the leaves. They do basic yard stuff to help, including planting. And of course, we get to visit with the client. So that's really an important part to it. We have a Fix It program, which is really taken off a lot. We also provide, we have contractors sometimes and just a lot of volunteers that will come in and do minor repair, safety repair related home repairs for our clients, such as grab bar installations. We'll hang pictures. We will not put our volunteers at risk, but like with climbing ladders and doing outside work where we have to climb. So it's just the basic things that they can do, including some tech stuff if they need, their remotes redone or new equipment installed. We will do that for them. Our biggest program that we run is called our Carryout Caravan. It is a grocery shopping and delivery service. Our clients can call in with their shopping lists, and then the following, or they can email, and then the very next day we will go out and shop and deliver all of this. Everything we do costs our clients nothing. We provide the service through all our volunteers. And our last one that I want to mention is we have our Vets Go, where we service our veterans. Volunteers provide transportation to our senior veterans and their family members to medical appointments, and that all includes the VA facilities. Everything, like I said, we do is volunteer powered. And so we're so grateful not just to have clients to service, but that we have over, I believe, 1,000 volunteers that give of their time to reach out to our many clients. And that's what I have today. Any questions?
Okay, Virginia. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, I wanted to show everybody something, because this is kind of important stuff. And that is this graph right here. And those of you who are in this nonprofit world probably realize that this is what's happening to our population here in Colorado. We're crossing over. This is going to happen actually next year. We have more people over 16 than under 18. And then this one also, both of these are from the state demographer, but they indicate, our population is aging, and it's not getting younger. So the demand for the services that these 7 nonprofits provide and other nonprofits that we haven't talked about yet is huge. And the issue of transportation comes up over and over and over again. I mean, you've all heard it. And you know that that's an issue. Getting food to people is an issue. Several of you have food pantries, or you deliver food, or both. You know, as the population is getting older, there are also more opportunities for volunteers, because people tend to have more time, usually. So that there's that too, and there are a lot of demands for tech help. So just a little bit of info about, you know, AgeWise. You know, we have a number of providers on our site that provide, you know, technology help, that provide transportation, and a whole host of other things. So Stacy, are you still there? Okay. So you mentioned the Holocaust survivors. So most of us don't really think about the fact that there are still a number of Holocaust survivors around. So can you talk just a little bit more about that, you know, in terms of numbers, and, you know, how old are those people?
Sure. So our survivors are kind of an odd thing that's happening right now, is we actually have more clients than we've had in the last 10 years. And I think one of the reasons for that is a lot of these people are getting older and they need the home care, and home care has gotten so expensive, as you all know, and are no longer able to pay for those services on their own anymore. Most of them, there was a lot of Holocaust survivors who really didn't want to take the money from the German government. They were very adamant about that, and now, unfortunately, they're kind of put into the situation where they have to. We currently have, I believe, we are serving around 100 Holocaust survivors throughout the state of Colorado, and those numbers are actually weirdly growing, as I said. Yes, we have a lot of survivors who we're doing a lot of end of life scenarios with them. A lot of them are getting 24/7 care, and they are older. I think one of our youngest survivors was a very born in one of the camps, and she is, I believe, 80 years old. So that's our range, but most of our survivors are in their 90s.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have questions of any of the panelists? I mean, this has really been great. I mean, I've learned a lot, and between the 7 of you, you serve a very large geographic area, extending, you know, out from Denver into Colorado Springs and adjoining counties in Colorado, and adjoining El Paso County even, and you know, Douglas, and et cetera. So I think the services that you provide are so badly needed, and hopefully, you know.
No, you just cut out there, Bob.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I guess it's time for a new router. I don't know what's wrong, but anyway. So anybody else have any questions of our panel? No need to keep folks any longer than necessary. So any other questions? Going once?
Don't forget Kevin Blinn.
Kevin, do you have a question?
Are you presenting or no?
No.
No, I wasn't on the panel, but I could definitely talk for about 20 minutes if you got time. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll catch you next time, Kevin. I see you've moved. You're now with ACE Senior Services. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, Becky and I are running ACE Senior Services now. So.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
But it was a good presentation now that you spotlighted me. So thank you very much for everybody. And I've taken all your information down, and great resources.
Okay. Well, yeah, speaking of what ACE is doing, I mean, you have senior services, you also have ACE handyman services, and the request for handyman services continues to increase pretty steadily throughout the state, I think. So it's something that's very badly needed. And we have a number of those handyman services on our website, but there are many more that need to be added simply because, you know, the demand is there. So anyway, okay, I don't need to say any more. So if no one else has any questions, we're going to close this out. And thank you all so much for joining us today. Thanks to all of our presenters, and thanks for all the great work that you do.